I wanted to bring up a subject that is rarely talked about that I think deserves to be mentioned, and this is the idea of benevolent reptilians. For reasons you will understand, I'm also going to bring into focus a person named David Icke. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with the work of David Icke, who is most famous for the information he has brought to us about the reptilians. While he is nowhere near the first person to speak on this subject, he is one of the first well-known people to speak about the subject with great information and detail and bring it hard and heavy into the alternative media. Before speaking on these subjects, David Icke had previously been a professional football or soccer player, a journalist, a sports television presenter for BBC, and most importantly, Icke was one of the four main speakers of the Green Party in England, where he was even called the Tony Blair of the Green Party. Just before he released his book titled Truth Vibrations, David Icke resigned from the Green Party, saying he was about to be the center of tremendous and increasing controversy, getting him a standing ovation. Soon after, Icke became the subject of extreme ridicule after the release of his book and appearing on The Wogan Show.
So when something's shape-shifting, it shifts in the decoding mechanism by which we decode different energy fields. It's literally like changing a television channel. You've got the human field, which is obscuring the reptilian field, because they hide behind the human field, so we don't know what the hell's going on. And if I'm observing the human field, that's the prime field that I'm decoding, I will see a human. But if this becomes the prime field, suddenly, for whatever reason, I'm now decoding the reptilian field, the reptilian energy field. What is happening in my decoded system in my mind is I'm seeing a human physical form, reptilian physical form, human physical. Did you see that? The bloke's just changed into a bloody lizard. So it's in the decoding that shapeshifting takes place.
David Icke explains that with a near 50-50 split of human and reptilian DNA gives the ability to hold on to two forms, a human form and a reptilian form. Doing a search of shapeshifting on YouTube will give you many results of many well-known people, including politicians, stars, and people in the royal family bloodline, showing what appears to be some type of actual shapeshifting taking place. Once you become truly aware of this and train your eyes to look for it, you will begin to see it all the time. You won't need to do a search on shapeshifting, for all you'll need to do is watch the news and you will begin to find it for yourself. When your eyes have been trained to notice shapeshifting, you begin to realize that many in the conspiracy realm or the alternative media themselves are shapeshifters or have a high reptilian DNA in them as well. This includes many people, including Alex Jones and David Icke himself. And this leads me to the main point I was trying to get across, and that is the benevolent reptilians.
I just want to say one other thing before we finish this video. I don't want to demonize the reptilian race because it's just a genetic stream in the great forever. I'm talking about a small number of this reptilian race that is behind this manipulation, not the race in general. And indeed, many of the reptilian stream, both in physical bodies and in other dimensions, are working now to help humanity win their freedom, win our freedom back.
So is David Icke telling the truth? Are there really benevolent reptilians? In his newest book, Human Race Get Off Your Knees, David Icke has said that these entities who are manipulating and controlling the reality on this planet are actually what could be thought of as outcasts of the reptilian race. One thing I do know for sure is that just because somebody is connected through blood to the royal elite, it does not mean that they're part of their network and could very well be against it themselves.
And it is quite intriguing how shamans all over the world, in altered states of consciousness, have visions of serpent-like beings. And these serpent-like beings are intelligent and they are not evil. And they appear to want to teach wisdom to the world.
I'm sure you've heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. I'd like to add on to it saying, don't judge a person by their species. I think that entities, both service to self and service to others, are apparent in every species throughout the multiverse, and perhaps it is dangerous to judge a being by how they look. Many people I've spoken to seem too eager to say reptilian-looking aliens are evil and human-looking aliens are good. Just because a visitor looks human does not mean that they have your best interest at heart. Likewise, just because an entity is a reptilian does not mean that they don't.